Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're jumping onto the rank ladder with Son Gohan. I absolutely love this. I love all green decks in particular. I especially like androids, as we all know on this channel, but I do like Gohan. His ability for the active battle to be defensive is absolutely insane. He's a draw leader all round. His hand size is normally outrageous. I do think that the leader is really, really strong. You just have to be careful about picking when to use the leader skill if you can't just instantly replace that energy off the 5 cost. And that does take a bit of experience and a bit of knowledge. Unfortunately, I would say out of all the green leaders, Gohan's probably the one I've played the least. But it's mainly just because I love Broly, and like I said, we all know I absolutely love the android deck. So Gohan for me is probably one that I might not play it perfectly, so anybody watching this for perfect play lines, just be careful, disclaimer. But I do really think that Gohan is strong. I think it can compete on the ladder. Obviously it'll carry you, if you have a proper build, it'll carry you right through to the god rank. But and what are we up against here? We have to be careful if this is U7. I believe it is. No, it's not. It's the starter leader, isn't it? No, it is U7. It's just not the alt art. I need to get used to these. This is not great, so we're going to change that. It's not better. Is that the draw rush? Yes. Okay, so we have our cantrip now, which is fine. I think we're just going to go ahead and charge instant Kamehameha. It's not going to give us much benefit for a while anyway. I'm not a big believer in that card anyway. I have a very weird relationship with it. Okay, so we do have a turn 2. We really need to see a ramp card. Although we do have the energy marker, so we're likely not going to do it for another 2 turns anyway, if we decide to do it at all. It might just be a Vegeta on our turn 4 instead. I mean, again, we kind of lose the ramp, but ultimately, us being able to clear his board if he has a hit, for example, is huge. Okay, so he decides not to attack, which I'm a bit surprised at. I know that we could swing 15 into it, but he does have this as a backup. I think we charge this. Or do we charge Turles? No, we'll charge this. And then the perfect thing is that we have 2 targets here. So we're going to do the Goku first, and the reason being is that if the ramp card is our top card, we just get it off of this anyway, but if it's not, it gives us 1 more card to dig with for the Gohan. Just in case it wasn't in slot 2 or 3 either, and it's not, which is really bad. I think we take this. And then we just pass. We need to get very lucky here. We desperately need that ramp. I'm surprised he's charging these TNs, because TN is one of the best cards into Gohan. For 1 energy, it's just a 20k. Hopefully between these 3 life we take, we actually get the destructive strength. Because we desperately need it. See, this is the thing with this card, right? This is advice for both green leaders, right? This being a 5 cost, it's very dangerous to play this into a deck that goes wide. And the main reason being is that we spend 5 energy to get there, and honestly, it's well within removable range, right? If on our turn 5, our opponent's likely going to be, or say turn 5, sorry, on our 5 energy mark, they're likely going to be on 4. And at 4, it's a 1-drop Whis and the 3-drop Goku, and this is dead. And you establishing that, yes, you get the initial ramp, but it's not great. God. Okay. I think we're just going to charge this. I'm going to attack, right, and we'll see what happens, but... Yes, okay, so we got the Destructive Strength, thank God. I'm still tempted not to do it, and just Vegeta and remove this Krillin, because he's kept us at 6 life, right? And the main reason for that is because he's wanting to build a wide board and put out as much damage in one turn as he can. I mean, our hand size are quite similar, even though I've got 2 life and an Awaken draw to go. But it is a dangerous territory, so we could theoretically play this, although we don't have a 3-drop, so we can't. Okay, so we're just going to Destructive Strength. So we ran Paturlus, and then we could theoretically do this. Which I think we do. I'm not going to spend the energy defensively on a Gigantic Meteor this turn. He is only going to his turn 4, so at worst it's going to be a Secret Rare, or at worst it's going to be the 4-drop Gohan, which is a critical, which is problematic, but we're fine with it either way. This card is insane into red. So this will likely be our next turn. Instead of Vegetaing, we will probably just establish this and try and clear some of that board. With him being at 3 as well, which was really dangerous, we can swing 40k double into him, and then he has to defend because he knows that every single one of these attacks will be lethal. Again, we take this. So we have a charge target for next turn. Which we're going to take. So this is 25, so we'll just Awaken and then we'll use 2 of the cards on board. For those of you who are a bit inexperienced with Fusion World, always comboing off the board is more efficient. These 1-drops, once they've done their thing, they're kind of useless. Cards from hand can be very useful later down the line. I think we're going to charge this. I think this... Oh no, wait, this, sorry. Yeah, never mind. And then I think we just 6-drop here, depending on what he does with his turn. The 6-drop can clear 3 or less, so we know that that Krillin in Android's definitely dead. But that's now the target. So it's now going to be that and... probably the Android 17, I think. It's probably the better one to kill. So he's going for 30. So we'll give him a 5 and we'll give him a 10. We're fine with this. And we charge that. And we're just going to attack into Krillin. We don't have any energy spare, unfortunately. Once we do that tap 6, we're out of energy. So we're going to do this. And then I think, honestly, I'm just going to put this Gohan on. It just means it's more than what's on his board. So that goes through. And then now we clear 2 very viable threats, so... So we pop these 2. Dead cards. And then we'll swing 40 double. This isn't going to go through. This is all about just pressuring this hand. He's got 2 5Ks here, so there's a super combo and a 5, right? So that was the obvious choice. But it's much harder for him to remove this in red. Going into his turn 5, at best he can give this -20 and then attack into it. Which is probably what he's going to do, but it's done what we needed it to do. It controlled his board. And then next turn, if he focuses all of his attacks onto this, the next turn we can safely put this down. We get a ramp, and then we can freely use our leader ability defensively and offensively. So there we go. -5. This is what I was saying. This Whis and the other 1-drop Whis that has the active main is a threat that we really need to consider. Okay, so he's going to swing into this. That's going to go down to what, 15k now? It's still defendable, you know. Probably pop that 10 on it, right? No. Okay, well he's giving us value. $25. Okay. So we could give him 2 cards, or we could give him a super combo. I think we just give him the super combo here. The 2 cards are more valuable. Because this is a viable threat as long as it stays on the board. I don't get this play personally. And here we go. We're forcing now cards from hand on his end, and again, it's great value. So we're going to take that all day long. And his turn's over now, so he can't deal with this anymore. Yeah, I think we just charge... I think we can charge one of these. We've got a lot, right? What's this turn going to look like? We're going to tap 5. Maybe we do keep... Nah, I don't think we need to keep 1. Yeah, we'll charge them early. We'll keep these. These can come in very handy on our kill turn. So we're going to just tap 5 now. See what do we ramp. I think that was the perfect ramp actually. It was. Beautiful. Okay, so we're gonna attack. How badly do I want to clear that though? Because this still, yeah, we're gonna attack into this, right? And then we're gonna do the lead skill. We'll just get rid of you. And we ramped another Selku, which is fine. And then we just leave that as is. 35 into 15 is fine. Yeah, if he wants to defend us, go right ahead. We don't care. So that's 25, and now he needs a super combo. Or, in fact, he has no energy, so he can't even do the Kamehameha. I don't really understand the 10k there. And then we're going to... This is a card that I notoriously will always say do not swing with, but it's a 15k, right? It gives us the advantage and it's very defendable being a 25. Yes, it means you can attack into it, but honestly, if he's attacking into this, he's not attacking into this, right? Like, he's down to 3 cards in hand. Like, this is over. We don't need to swing the double strike at him, we'll just clear that board. There we go. So he spent a ridiculous amount of cards from hand there, right? I think it was from like what, here? Or maybe no, so it'd be here actually, wouldn't it? Yeah, he spent like 5 cards from hand defending that card that died anyway, right? It was a really silly play. That's one thing that you need to be very careful of when you are defending your cards. You have to look at the board state, how many attacks you know your opponent still has left, how many energy they have open, and what they can do with that energy. Like red, for example, going into 5 energy, right, or even going into 6 energy, you know that they can put out 2 or 3 attackers that will all be 20k pluses. So you have to be very careful about when you're choosing to defend a card. Sometimes, not always, but sometimes it's better to let your opponent blow all their energy on one big attacker and then combo out of that. Because then on your turn, which is then called the clapback, your opponent will either be tapped out or they will be severely diminished. Their hand size will obviously still be there, but it just depends on the situation. We're not taking this, so we'll just give them a 5. And we still have our leader ability for things like this. It can kill this now. But we're not going to use the leader ability now that we lose this card. just because we can't go into that the turn after. Obviously, us being at 7, if we use the lead skill now, we go down to 6. So he goes 40 into that. Yeah, again, we just give him a 10k. There we go. And that's the game. He knows it's over because in the next turn we have a double striker, and then we have our leader ability, because what we would end up doing there is we would play the 8-drop Broly, so that we're fully tapped out. Then when we attack with the leader, we do the leader skill. We don't care if we go down to 7 at that point. You know, we're tapped out. It's not going to make any difference. So we would have a 35k and two 45ks coming his way into his 1 life. And he knows he can't get out of that with these cards in hand, so... And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Gohan in a nutshell. There's a reason why that deck is topping events and winning events all the time. Oh look, Master 1. Unfortunately, I've not been able to grind into God at all. I've been just so busy in my own life, but we're going to show you the deck list. So it's probably a very standard list, to be honest. I haven't grabbed anything from any topped events. This is just me and my knowledge of green and knowing what cards work well and maybe what ratios I think I work well with. There are definitely changes that I think I can make to the deck, don't get me wrong, but for me personally, it's just one of those things where I like to win games through deck building and, you know, theory crafting and things like that. But I can't imagine the list being that different from any that's topping. But we've got 4 Goku, 4 Gohan. These are our turn 1s. This just searches our 5 or less Saiyans, including our extra cards. So it's a decent card. 3 of the Android 18s. This might go to a 2. I find in Gohan this doesn't really come up all that often. For me, it's just a way to establish a 20k. We draw a card and discard a card, so if we need to dig for the destructive strength, we can dig for it, and if not, we can discard a 3 or higher for the Vegeta, so that way we have that enabled as well. It's good for that. That's pretty much all it is, and obviously when you're at 6 or more you draw, but it just doesn't come up as much as it does in the Android deck personally, so this might go down to a 2 of, we'll see. 2 of the Trunks 25k attackers. This obviously is just a way to clear board, control it while, you know, we're trying to defend and build our ramp turns. It's also a 10k combo, which is nice. We're on 4 of the Vegeta ramp cards. It's an insane card. It deals with red very well and yellow because we can start to control that board a bit. 4 of the what's known as Selku, but it's obviously a Son Goku card. When it's played, or when we put an energy into our drop, we ramp from deck, right? So it's a guaranteed ramp 1, and then it's a way to just freely use our leader ability offensively and defensively, and freely use our instant Kamehamehas as well. We also run 3 of the 5-drop Gohans, which is, you know, we kill something 4 or less. This, for me, I personally think it should be a 4 of, so I might cut her and put in a 4th one of these. Again, I'll just be playtesting around and see what happens. We run 2 Turles. I was a big believer of Turles at 3, but the more I've played the deck, the more I just always choose other paths. Like, I'll always have Turles at the time I need it. I just never think it's the right time to play the card. Ultimately, yes, it's a 30k critical, and it ramps, but a lot of the times in green we need to control that board, so sometimes this is just the better play. So yeah, I think 2's fine. I don't think I would up that more than 2. I do only run 2 androids, but this might get changed to 3. I think that the card is that good, it could honestly be ran at 3, but deck space is a problem. So again, it's just trying to adjust ratios and figure out where we go from there. We've got 3 of these Gohans. These Gohans I love. You know, it's a tap 6 and we just get to ramp a life back. There are times where I force my opponent to deal, you know, 9-10 damage to me and they've still not been able to kill me just because of this card. It's insane, but it's, you know, you can't really do that at the higher tiers because people are just smarter and they're just better at the game. So you kind of expect them to play around all of your turn 5s to, let's say, 8 or 5 energy to 8 energy. You know, they kind of know what you're looking to do. And I think that if you use this on the 6 energy rather than using this, the cards that are still on board are just going to harass you down so much that 1 life isn't going to be worth it. But it's a good card, don't get me wrong, and it's still there for a reason, but yeah, that's pretty much the only reason it's there. One secret, I'm not a big fan of this secret rare, honestly. it feels like bait to me. One, it's a 0k like both secret rares are. The 50k for 7 energy is the only value for me. The board wipe comes up every now and again, but I would probably argue that about maybe 6 or 7 out of 10 times I play this card, it's just for the 50k go for game. That's just the only reason it's there. I honestly very, very rarely tap 7 and board wipe. It comes up so few and far between because the deck is very good at managing board state anyway. And with green, we can go into your life with very high power attacks, right? I don't need to pressure you in those early turns. You can stay at 4 life until you're at 5-6 energy. It's honestly not going to matter in the long run. So yeah, I just don't think that we ever really need to do the on play discard and board wipe. It very rarely comes up. 4 super combos and 4 Broly's, best card in the game. 2 instant Kamehameha has, like we said, it pitches it's a free card, it pitches an energy and you gain plus 15. Very good defensive card, especially in Gohan, which I think is the deck that needs it most out of all the green decks. But again, unless you've got this, it's a neg from energy, and it doesn't feel great. The only time that feels great is when my opponent is going for game, and they're going for broken, they're like 120k, and we go, right, well, it's going to cost us 3 permanent energy, but we can turn our leader into a 65k base between our leader skill and both of these, which is good. And then obviously we can, gigantic meteors, we can put our 10ks or super combos on top of that. But that's pretty much the only reason it's there. I very rarely ever use this offensively unless I'm going for game, and like what happened there where I gave the example where if we're tapped out and we know that the Broly is going to be lethal, as long as we get high enough, it's good for that. That's pretty much it. 4 gigantic meteors, it's an insane 25k combo for 1 energy, beautiful, and then 4 destructive strengths, which are a ramp card. So yeah, so that's Gohan, guys. Like I say, I don't think the list is that much different from any you will see at top events. There'll probably be ratio differences here or there, but this is pretty much the crux of just a solid Gohan list. But yeah, if you give the deck a try, and if you have any deck suggestions, obviously hit me up in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.